Can't talk no filter. Can't talk no filter. Can't talk no filter. Can't talk no filter. Hey. Can't talk no filter. Can't talk no filter. Can't talk no filter. Hey. Do you really want that? Can't talk. Do you really want that? Can't talk. Can't talk no filter. Can't talk no filter. Can't talk no filter. Hey.
Yo, it's your boy DJ, yes sir, aka Time motherfucking Ford, and we on for another one. You know, I got a couple special guests on the line. This is Can't Talk No Filter. I got some special guests. I got not one, not two. I got a third one that'll be coming on. It'll be my dog Loose Cannon, and I also have my dog Logan, Kane Logan on this thing, you know what I'm saying? And I got my partner Chris Lee, man. How y'all feeling out there, man?
Good, man. What's going on with you, man? What's going on?
What's the business? What's the business, man? We got some dead talk and we got some happy talk. I mean, the dead talk is this program been going in a crazy direction for years. But the happy talk is we got a couple cats that's coming in. I mean, Logan, tell me about this Dietrich King that we just got committed. He just committed today. He'll be starting classes tomorrow. Manny went out and snatched him. That's one good thing that he's done. But it also seemed a little kind of underhand sneaky because you got Nicosia and Jaron Williams still there. So speak on Dietrich King, will you? You know what I'm saying? What's your opinion on it?
I think it's a good get, and I give a lot of the credit more to Lashley than I do Manny because of what the staff has done with Perry specifically. I personally think it's a slap in the face to Perry, but then again, the way the staff has done him, they've been slapping him in the face, so to speak. All I'm hoping out of this, because it's kind of a done deal, is that Jaron and Tate Martell transfer and just leave our program.
Yeah, man, it seems like a slap in the face, because especially when you got, Dietrich King. I'm going to just call him King. I can't really pronounce his first name. It don't matter. Can't talk no filter. But King coming in, and you have Perry and Jaron Williams, and we ain't gonna mention that other guy. With King coming in and Manny going to get him, basically he has to guarantee him a starting job, because this will be the second quarterback he's got out the portal, and it'll look real fucked up if he don't play this one. You know what I'm saying? Because if he don't play this one, he won't be able to get another quarterback out that portal, right? Chris, what you think, man? What you think on it?
Well, to be honest with you, I mean, I didn't even know that. I was waiting to find out officially if he got committed to the U. And congratulations, he's at the U, but at what cost? Because, see, my whole thing is this. Nicosia been there. Nicosia did not get a fair chance, like how Jay Williams did. You see what I'm saying? Because to me, I feel, my opinion, Nicosia earned that spot. Nicosia got our asses out of some fire that Jay will put us in, okay? And somewhat it could be where, you know, like prime example, that Pitt game, the Florida State game. That man won that Florida State game. I don't give a damn what nobody say. Nicosia won that damn game.
Yeah, he did.
Okay? Because we was down heavy. You know what I'm saying? But he got down there, and I mean, he buckled down, and he got right. You know, Jay Will. This year at Florida State, he won the game. He did his thing. Okay, cool. But he's not consistent. He's not as consistent as Perry. So with King coming in is good as far as for coming in with experience, knowing what to do and how they can work within each other. But as far as Manny promised this man, if he promised this young man a starting gig over Perry, that's a straight, that's more than a slap. That's straight spit in your face.
Mm-hmm.
Straight bullshit, huh?
I mean, that right there, I'm telling you, I would read his ass from one side of the wall to the other, if that's the case. Because right is right and wrong is wrong. Honestly, Jay Will, he got the size and everything like that, but he's not that consistent. When it comes to, you know, being to the point where he can get out there and he can do stuff, it's like, you know, he gets fumble and bumbling all over the damn place. The coach is he grab that ball, he throw it. He get that, he see pressure, he gonna run. If he sees somebody trying to rush him, he gonna throw it. But
it's just that he looks. Yeah, he looks more comfortable.
exactly.
Matter of fact, he doesn't just look more comfortable. He is more comfortable.
Exactly.
You know, and with that being said, with the quarterback situation and we crediting Lashley with getting King, I mean, Logan, like, what do you think about Lashley? Because I know you probably looked him up, or do you know anything about him as being the offensive coordinator? I've asked other guests, what do they think about him? Because, I mean, I've looked up some games that he's coached on offense, and I've seen the offense move and put up some points. But here in the Power Fives, you know, even though he was at Auburn, but wasn't he fired from Auburn also? But I don't know that for a fact. I think I heard that. But regardless of him being fired from Auburn, he still put up points after that. You know what I'm saying? He's known to put up a lot of points. What do you think about him?
I hear you. So, obviously opinion based. Lashley, comparing him to Mark Richt hire from an offensive standpoint, you know, a Mark Richt hire or a Dan Enos hire, you know, they didn't really have good numbers. Dan Enos and Mark Richt, they weren't proven statistically, and this guy is proven statistically with the number 9 offense in the country last year with SMU talent,
Right.
not the talent we have on our team, because our team is talented. I definitely think so. But I think he's gonna, if he does what he has been doing, I mean, our offense is gonna be. I'm really excited for our offense. I really am.
Okay.
And going back to the quarterbacks
Yeah,
too.
I mean,
excuse me, my bad.
Go ahead. You good?
The big thing that I look at, right, is with Jaron is all of our quarterbacks are athletically. It's more of a mental thing. They're not mentally athletic. You know, like Jaron does not. I mean,
Right.
This isn't an opinion, just so y'all know. This is the truth. Jaron does not apply himself. He doesn't study film as much like he should. Kind of a lot of our players are that way. I'm not going to call people out, but yeah, that's how it is. And that's coming from Brett Romberg, who's been on the green tree and been in the locker room. I mean, when Tate Martell was told he wasn't starting at the beginning of the season, the dude put his hoodie on and walked away and walked right by Romberg. You know what I'm saying? So that's one of the biggest problems. And that's what's the head scratcher with Perry is, like, I know he had his mistakes, but he's always stood by the program. He's never gave up. He's never threatened to transfer. You know, he's fixed himself, and he's not being given a fair shake at all. Like, the same thing he was saying is what I agree with.
Right. And to me, it seems like a real lack of respect and lack of discipline from the players. But what I'm saying, you can't blame the players on that. You can blame the coaching on that, because obviously the players don't respect the coaches for some reason. You know what I'm saying?
I kind of blame both.
Yeah, I blame both, because players have some they have some accountability as well coming in.
Of course.
But when you have no leadership or nothing going on, it's like, who do you follow? Like, it's like, who do you follow? It's basically like, that's why I call it, it's a shit show right now. You know, nobody has no respect. Nobody takes accountability. Not the players, not the coaches, especially Manny. You know, he throws a lot of people under the bus. He never says it was my fault. You know what I'm saying? And so, hey, with speaking on that, I asked a couple other guests, how do you feel, hey Chris, how do you feel about the job that Manny has done so far?
Well.
And we're going to take a deep breath on that one. Can't talk no filter. You know what I'm saying? We're just going to cut in for the interlude. All right, let's go, man.
I hope he ain't listening.
I hope he is.
Let's go.
I hope he is.
Let's go. Let's get it.
I'm gonna be straight up, and I'm gonna be raw and uncut with his ass. For you to come in, and for you to be a first-time coach, okay, you're a first-time head coach. This ain't your first dance, though. So you already knew as a defensive coordinator what the fuck was going on there in the beginning, because you right there in the grass.
Yes, sir.
You in the locker room. You there. So when you take on this role, why you fuck up more as a head coach than you do as a DC? As a DC, you was good. Damn near, to me, honestly, and I could be wrong, and my fellow Kane brothers, please correct me if I'm wrong.
Nah, keep
He
going.
was damn near flawless. He was damn near flawless when he was a DC.
Well,
But see, as a head coach,
I'm gonna just cut in right there. I ain't gonna say flawless, but he was good for where he was in the coastal, in ACC play. But other than that, I can agree with you. You know what I'm saying? I can agree with it with it for the most part. But you can continue.
I think people are fooled by that, though.
Yeah, you can continue.
exactly. That's what it was. It's a facade. Because you see him as a DC and was like, damn, he did this as a DC. Man, he about to be the head coach, man. This shit about to be lit.
Yeah.
No, the hell it ain't. No, it
Well,
ain't.
that goes back into the 80s, too.
It's two different monsters. It's two different entities. You got a DC where you control how you are on that field defensively, and the head coach is over everything. You know how much responsibility you have to have in order to do this shit the right way?
Right.
A lot of fans look at it as, well, yeah, it's his first season as a head coach. Okay, cool. It's his first season as a head coach. So what's his excuse for anything else? So what has he done as a head coach? Since this is his first year, this is the training wheel season. Okay? The motherfuckers come off next season. Okay? Fuck the bullshit. Them bitches come off.
They coming off.
They coming off. I don't want to hear shit about, oh, well, we didn't do this, or we need to do this. Bitch, you the coach. You supposed to be that flagship. This supposed to be this team is your ship. You the captain. You don't let nobody dictate how the fuck you do your job. You understand what I'm saying? And that was the problem. He want to point the finger at the person who lost against North Carolina, okay? Who lost against Virginia Tech, Georgia Tech, okay? FIU, Louisiana Tech. You want to point the finger instead of being the motherfucker that sat up there and be like, you know what? I fucked up.
Right.
It was on me. Every single game we lost, you made an excuse.
No accountability.
But those 6 games that we won, oh yeah, we did that, and I did that, and that. Ain't no I in team, fucker. It's always I when you win. It's everybody else when you lose.
Preach, Chris. But hey, Chris.
See what I'm saying?
Hey, Chris, let me sling the same question over to Logan. Logan, what do you think what do you think about the job that Manny has done so far this year, last year? And matter of fact, we're not gonna go beyond that. We're not gonna go past last year. Like, since he's been the head coach, what type of job do you think he's done so far?
Oh boy.
Let's get it.
So let me be the first person to say that I remember when the whole Mark Richt retired, and I was all over Twitter, and I was personally praying, yo, Manny, come back, Manny, come back. All right.
Right.
But one thing I think I've learned about Manny Diaz throughout, I mean, not even the offseason, because he looked like a dumbass between the way he presented himself in this team and then how this season turned out and how he handled everything between players and the games, like, it was terrible. And I think people were fooled by Manny Diaz, even with our defense, because if y'all can recall with me, what was it, 80s or 90s when we finally went to the 4-3 and it worked because of our athletes?
Uh-huh.
I mean, come on. We went from D'Onofrio to Manny Diaz. All he did was really run a 4-3. That scheme works with our talent. I don't think that it was so much Manny Diaz as a boss. I think it was more so that's just the scheme our defense is proven to be the best at. And it's always top 20 when we're in that system.
And Logan, hey, do you agree with me? This is my opinion. Do you agree with me when I said I think the Miami fan base, I think we really got happy because we finally had some type of defense that was opposite than D'Onofrio's. I'm glad you brought that point up. You know,
D'Onofrio was a better coach than Manny Diaz. He just didn't have the right scheme.
Right.
And that's what I've heard from former players that were under him during his defense.
Right.
They said that he was awesome. He was always lighting a fire under their ass and trying to coach them. He was always on top of them. His scheme just didn't work. That's literally what a former player said. I think his name was Jawan Blue.
Yeah,
you know
Blue.
what I mean? So, like, yeah. Even Al Golden, he was a great coach. Like, he was always on their ass. It just didn't work schematically what he was doing. That's all. I think the coaching staff, well, at least Manny Diaz specifically, because at least we got rid of our OC and the QB coach and all that nonsense. But Manny Diaz, when you look at everyone else on the staff that's kind of new, I think Manny's just, I don't think he's a guy. He's too political, and he looks stupid after what he did in the offseason before this season, man. It looked unprofessional as a brand new head coach, and you sit there and get clowned by some of the worst teams of their time, like Georgia Tech, who was transitioning into a different offense. We got clowned by them. And then the way that he's handled the players, the way he's handled the players is just wrong, man. It's so wrong. It's wrong. Like Jeremiah Payton, all these guys who are supposed to be all world, and we don't even get to see them. When both our running backs go down against, who is it, Duke? And then we get to see Burns, who can't even pick up blitzes. Where's Lorenzo at? Like, I get it. If Lorenzo's this third string running back and he don't got it, look, your second and first strings, it ain't working either, and one of them's hurt. So why can't we at least see the kid? Because when we saw Sam Brooks as a linebacker, he was the best linebacker on the field over our senior.
Logan. Preach, Logan. Don't hold him back. Preach, man.
Damn right.
Let's go.
And don't get me wrong, I'm hype about this 2020 class, bro. It got me hype. But what if he does the same things to those players that he's been doing to our star athletes that we can't see?
And that's what I'm afraid of. And that's
boom,
what
culture all over again. It's screwed up. And that's another thing, too, is this man sit there, we got to change. Like, that's all he said in the offseason. We got to change the culture in the locker room, the football team. We got to change the culture. We need to change the recruiting culture. And why the fuck are you going after a guy who decommitted from us 3 times? Right? Why the fuck are you talking about recruiting culture when you go after that clown he was committed to FSU? We chased him, then he decommitted from us 3 times. You got trolled by Romello Height. I mean, the dude literally asked for Miami followers, Miami fans, give me a follow on Twitter, get me up there. And the dude trolled us and went to Auburn. And our staff should have known that. Our staff should have known that. They did know that, man. They're just stupid.
Hey, well, matter of fact, I'm about to swing this question over. I know it's like beating a dead horse, but I've asked my past guests on here about. I know that Highsmith is not coming. I know that situation is over, done with, But Chris, I mean, what do you think happened with that situation? Why do you think he didn't come?
He was never offered.
Speak on it.
I think it's just more of a politics. I think Highsmith is the type of person that's gonna call you out on your bullshit and gonna show you who the hell you are, instead of you sitting up here having some artificial garbage that you're trying to feed to these fans and feed to these players and feed to yourself. They gonna hold that mirror up and be like, okay, this is who you really are. Manny ain't ready for that. Manny ain't ready for that. He's not ready for nobody to call him out on his BS, because he still want to be the man that dictates and point fingers at everybody else except him when shit goes wrong. Zoe was not going to let that happen. Mr. Highsmith was not about to let that happen. If you're the one that did it, you're the one that pulled the trigger, so you're going to be the one to take the bullet for it.
Right.
Own your shit. That's all it is. Take responsibility. If you don't take responsibility, how the hell do you expect for 53 other kids in that locker room to take their responsibility? How do you expect that?
They're going to end up just like him, not taking accountability the same way.
No accountability. Exactly. You can't sit here and say, and preach to them about taking accountability, but yet and still they sit here and they see their coach, it was this one's fault. It was that one's fault. Who's the one making the plays?
Right.
Who's the one in the ballroom? Who's the one that sit down, do out from Monday to Friday, unless you got a game on a Thursday? Who sits there and puts those games, put those plays in motion? All your coaches, including you. You got to put your schemes, and they come up with their game plan and everything like that, and they run it by you. So for you to sit back and you not to take accountability for what happens makes you look bad as a coach. And that's why we sit up in the damn stands at Miami games, and you can sit there and get a damn 50-yard line tickets for $25 because don't nobody believe in the bullshit that you're saying, because you don't even believe in your own product. You can't sit up here and sell Kool-Aid to somebody, put some damn Splenda in there. They don't want that artificial garbage. Put that sugar in there.
Yeah, a lot of
Get the people what they want, man.
a lot of people fail. Hey, Chris, what's that you said earlier? You said, man, you can't throw water in the air and tell me it's raining.
Right, you can't throw no water in the damn air and expect for it to be, and you gonna tell me it's rain? And it's
Yes,
blue as a
man.
motherfucker outside. Fuck out of here with that bullshit.
Yes,
You can
man.
keep. No, you ain't gonna do that, and you ain't about to sit here and piss in no cup with no ice in it and tell me it's lemonade. Cause I'm gonna throw the shit back in your face. Cause you
Right.
garbage. You full of garbage. You're garbage.
All right.
I'm
Hey,
telling you.
Logan. Hey,
Mhm.
Logan. All right,
Do it.
we're gonna move on to defensive staff though. All right, last year, they said that there were a couple games, especially after we came off the loss. Was it VTech or Georgia Tech? It was one of those losses. They said after that, they said that next game that it's rumored. It's not a fact. It's not opinion. Can't talk no filter, bitches. These are what we heard, rumors. And people said that Manny took over the defense in the next game against who was that? Was it Virginia or Pitt? I think it was Virginia.
It was. I think it was Pitt actually.
think-
That's when I
it
thought
could have
things
been
were going to
Pitt.
turn
Yeah,
the hell around.
it was either
I
or.
think.
And then
I
so
think it might have been Pitt. I think.
okay, but I want to ask the
Hey.
question: if our defense was messing up in situational football early in the season, and then as soon as Manny takes the clipboard against Virginia or Pitt, you said it was Pitt, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, against Pitt. Why the hell didn't he do it the rest of the season?
I don't know.
Hmm.
That's a question I literally can't answer. But I'd
Like
like
the-
to comment on that whole Alonzo Highsmith thing you were talking about.
Yeah, I want you to comment on that too, and I also want you to comment on Well, matter of fact, let's go here and then we'll hit the Highsmith thing again. And like,
Appreciate it.
I want to know why he would give the clipboard back to his partner. Like, I want to go deeper. I'm like, is that his? We know that's his good friend from what La Tech, right?
hmm
So do you think he's just trying to boost him up to keep his job? So
No.
he's taking up for him when things go wrong, so he doesn't lose his job.
So the
So
key
is-
word here is think because we don't know. But
Right,
in
that's
my
where we go.
opinion,
That's how we go. Yeah.
in my opinion, as long as Manny doesn't touch any of the offensive coaches and lets them run their offense, I do believe 100% that if Manny does it right, he can groom Blake Baker. Obviously, with helping calling plays and stuff like that, he was a great defensive coach here. So if he's doing that, then I got it. But at the same time, I understand what you're saying. He should have been more involved from the jump. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do we have? Like 30 something missed tackles against Georgia Tech. You know, he should have been involved before that game, and we almost lost to fucking Central Michigan. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't our defense's fault, but it's just at some point when you're having close games or losing to teams that you shouldn't, you should already, all right, I got to get involved. It shouldn't sit there and take midseason or whatever for it to happen. And you should have known this even in the off season. You know, like this is stuff that you observe as a head coach and what your weaknesses are, and you should instantly want to jump on it and fix it so this doesn't happen. Because if that would have happened, the season probably wouldn't have been as bad as it was. But then again, I'm not going to blame our defense because we lost a lot of key players and we have, Blake Baker coaching the defense. Who's that? I know, right? But at the same time, it was much more of an offensive problem this season. And I'm glad that there has been changes. I'm glad. But I'm definitely, let me know about this when I can go in on this Alonzo Highsmith shit because
Yeah, matter of fact, we're gonna push it back to the Alonzo Highsmith since he got the defensive standpoint off his chest. But we're gonna move to the Alonzo Highsmith. What do you think happened in this?
he never got offered a job.
Boom.
Y'all know who Barry Jackson is, right? Barry Jackson had an interview and a phone call with him and wrote an article. Alonzo said they never offered me a job.
Boom.
It was a hoax. It was a lie. And you know why it was a lie? Because all our AD and Board of Trustees care about is money. They don't care about our football program. They don't care about the program that made them get this money that they're getting, that made Miami what it is. They don't care about it now because they got the money. And the reason Alonzo didn't come is because Manny would have been fired after this season, and Alonzo would have been our new AD because Blake wouldn't be here either.
So everybody out there in Kane land, Logan has spoken. Alonzo Highsmith was never offered the job.
Mm-mm. No, he wasn't. That's serious. That's like not an opinion. That's the truth.
And this is the truth. This is fact. He was never offered the job. So basically, we went on a shit show just to get happy, and it made us forget about all last season, really, because we thought we were moving in a new direction, a better direction, and come to find out he wasn't even offered the damn job. Isn't that something? that's that's wild. That's
Clown show,
wild.
man.
But hey, we gonna go ahead and move along from that one because that one even has me sweating. I'm like, okay, so this is what really happened. He was never offered. They didn't even have no plans to even bring him in.
And that's another reason too. If he would have came in with the power that he should have had as chief of staff, there'd be a lot of cut scholarships on Miami football right now. A lot.
And speaking of cut scholarships, we're gonna bite on that. Chris.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. What do you think about the talent level on this team right now? Like from what you've seen so far, not what they've done in high school, but what you've seen so far out of the talent level that we have on this Hurricane squad.
Honestly, I believe that the talent that we have is it's from what I've seen with talent, it's just like, how can I put it? We got it. But it just has to be polished a little bit. We gotta have it to where we gotta have leaders. We gotta have people that take the reins, that take the accountability. Like, we gotta have the type of people that want to make tackles the right way. You can't make no little, Pee-wee League tackles. You can't do that. You gotta have people to make these tackles. But the bottom line is, in order for them to make the tackles, we gotta have the type of coaches that's gonna train them the right way.
Basically, we have lack of development on the coaching staff.
Exactly. And it's not the kids that don't have the talent. It's the kids have the talent, because if that was the case, they wouldn't be at no college. They wouldn't be playing no football if they were not talented. Obviously, these kids are talented, but something is lacking between the field and the kids and the coaches. And that's what it is. It's the coaches. It's like, you got, like, I'm looking at DJ Dallas, and God bless him. I hope he goes to the NFL and he wrecks shop. Okay?
Yeah.
I looked at how he runs. He runs with aggression. He runs with precision. He's a smart runner. He finds gaps and he finds holes. That's what I'm talking about.
He runs with a U on his helmet. That's the thing.
Exactly. You know what? He reminds me of like a modern day, to me, like more of a modern day, like Willis McGahee. You know what I mean? And he runs with precision and he runs with precise, and stuff like that. Like Shaq Quarterman, Pickney, these guys, they're so talented, but it's just something that's not right in that locker room. Because when they get out there on that field, like I told you, whenever I went to that Georgia Tech game when they played in Atlanta back in 2017, they had the talent.
It was.
What?
I was there.
What? I was too. And when I seen them get off the bus, I was hyped.
Right.
But when I looked in their faces, it was like they just there to be there. It wasn't like that. Yeah, like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it didn't have the type. Right. They didn't have the type of attitude, the type of swag, the type of gumption, that ambition. And I'm like, what is wrong with them?
Well,
they came out there. It just didn't connect. And I'm just thinking that we got the talent. The talent is there.
Right.
Are they going to be trained the right way? Because if you put them on Bama, Clemson, Auburn, Georgia,
you're gonna see a major difference.
It's major difference. Prime example, Lawrence Cajun, major difference.
Right.
Even though he got hurt, major difference. Now Lorenzo Lingard, watch what he do at Florida. Watch.
We'll see, because from what I heard, Lorenzo wasn't a big fan of studying playbooks, and a lot of the reason we didn't see him is because he couldn't pick up blitzes. But I also had the argument of, why didn't we see him at least one damn play? Why is a walk-on of Jimmy Murphy seeing more snaps than Lorenzo?
Thank you.
I do have that argument too.
My dog Loose Cannon said that, man. He's supposed to be coming on, but if he don't come on in the next couple minutes, we gonna ride out and we'll get him on the next one. But let me ask a question, and I'm gonna swing this to both of y'all. I'm gonna start it with Logan. Logan, what do you think the problem is in the locker room? Like when it's going, like when we speak on, go
I
ahead.
got you. My bad. So this is a very mentality type of question, like how I look at life and how I carry myself, right? So in my honest opinion, first things first, it always starts with coaching. It does. It always starts with coaching and what they allow and how they carry themselves. It rubs off on, we'll say, the kids in college. Kind of like how me being a leader in the military, what I do at work, it rubs off on my soldiers and how they carry themselves. Right? But at the same time, there are some kids in the locker room, like your Jarens, who misses curfew, misses practices, and still starts over Perry. That's his fault, and it's the coach's fault for allowing it. I 100% believe that it's a mixture of player and coaching problems, but it's obviously much more on the coaching, because these are kids, they're players, they're trying to make it to the NFL. You know what I'm saying? Like, the coaches are the ones getting paid. But I can tell you one thing, I believe there's certain kids in our locker room who wouldn't make it in the NFL because they get their ass cut because they don't invest and put their time into, studying the film and like what Mark Pope did. Mark Pope's sitting there in the sand I think it was on the beach, sitting there doing routes, and like he's trying to apply himself, and he's never really been given a fair shot either with the offensive play calling that we've had since he's been here. Because I was the biggest Mark Pope fan, bro. I was the biggest Pope fan, and I still am. And I hope to God he shines in this offense. That'd be the best thing that can happen. Is I know we got King now, so it's a head scratcher, but I really feel like Perry and like your Mark Popes and shit like that, those kids will shine in this offense, because I think Lashley is much more of a player's coach, and he wants to, do the best thing that the kids want to do also. Dan Enos, straight from Brett Romberg, watching him on Green Sheet in the locker room, Brett Romberg said all Dan Enos did was scream and yell. That's all he did. And with the new generation and stuff like that, we can't handle a business coach. We need a player's coach that can relate to our kids.
Right.
We didn't even have that as an OC. Dan Enos didn't even go into Dade County once to fucking recruit.
That's crazy. That's fucking crazy.
The only picture actually I saw of Dan Enos with a recruit was fucking Tyler Van Dyke. That's it.
That's crazy. But these are the guys that Manny are bringing in to, bring our program back to dominance, right?
But I one thing I'll admit is, when Dan Enos got hired, I was like, we just got to do it from Alabama. And Georgia was going to get him too, and we stole that. How the hell we do that? So I was definitely wrongfully convinced that he was the guy. But like mid-season, when I was seeing like all these play actions under centers and shit that wasn't working and jet sweeps at the goal line, I had to sit there and be like, who the fuck is Dan Enos? So I'm sitting there, I Wikipedia his ass and looked at his records and what he's done. That motherfucker never deserved to be an OC at Miami, ever. Nothing. And it showed this season because of what the talent that we had. That should not have been, the numbers on offense should not have been what they were with who we have on offense, even with our young O-line.
And it's crazy because a lot of people like to go in on the quarterbacks, this and that, but it's crazy that even with a terrible ass offensive coordinator or whatever, Perry still look good. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Sometimes Jaren look okay, but I don't think he's really invested.
I ain't gonna lie, Jaren looked amazing versus Pittsburgh. He looked amazing. But that's the thing with almost all of our quarterbacks. Not so much Perry because he's never given a fair shake, and he's been coached by Enos and John Rick, nobodies. But I think when it comes to consistency, Perry's definitely the most consistent. But we've seen flashes out of both Perry and Jaren to know that they can be great. But I think Perry's the guy because he's not in trouble. He doesn't miss curfew. He doesn't miss practices. He applies himself. He's got the U tatted on him. Like, he's still here after everything that he's been put through, even going, to last year against Virginia when he was thrown in the game because we were fucked. And you throw him in the game on the goal line on our fucking, it was like, I think we're on the 3rd-yard line. And you just throw him in the fucking game. Figure it out.
He went
with
in
terrible
there,
play calling. Come on, man.
He went in there and big dogged it. That wasn't even in the play call. He took that amongst himself to go, hey, I'm gonna take this. You know, and it was a lot of things that I didn't agree with Enos and how he did things. You know what I'm saying? There was a reason why we had a terrible ass goal line defense. There was a reason why we were terrible at third
I got a
down.
question for you guys, if you don't mind me asking.
What's that, man?
So did you guys ever listen to the Malik Rozier interview on the Orange Bowl Boys podcast?
I did.
Bro, this man said that the quarterbacks weren't even allowed to audible. He said, we weren't allowed to audible. We had to run the play that they called. And you remember against FIU when homeboy was wide open and we still ran the same bullshit? It's the same thing. And that stuff's gone. Mark Richt's not here no more. So that's just a head scratcher of why is it still this way if we've known that the way it's being done has not worked these past few years. We've literally had championship defenses. All we got to do is score at least probably 30 a game. 30 a game, and we're in a New Year's Six Bowl.
Because cheap coaching. You go cheap, you're going to get cheap results. That's point blank, period. And it's shown. Even when we paid, Mark Richt, that good money, we paid him 4 point something million. But he still went and hired some bum ass coach. Even Manny Diaz at the time was a bum ass coach. You know what I'm saying? We didn't know he was gonna turn out to be what he is now, because he hasn't been in other conferences. You know what I'm saying? But to be honest, that's the first time that we paid some actual money for a coach. And but other than that, they think that we can do like we did back in the day, and we can get a cheap coach and ride out just because it's in Miami, a fertile ground where we can get any player and every player. Nah, we can't get.
Bro, the best point to make, right? The best point to make. It took us 10 hours to hire Manny Diaz. How long did it take us to hire an OC? And Rhett Lashley? Not no damn 10 hours.
It took about 2 weeks, 3 weeks. You know what I'm saying? And that's crazy. That is crazy.
Honestly, if I can be honest with you, like my opinion, don't get me wrong, I got high hopes because the OC and the new quarterback, even though I love Perry and I think he's going to be good in this offense, even though he probably won't be given a chance now because he never has. So that's kind of just a deadbeat subject, it pisses me off. But if we would have brought in Alonzo Highsmith, this is my prediction, and I want you guys' opinion, and I wish this would have happened.
Okay.
Alonzo would have cut scholarships. He would have fired Manny Diaz after this season of him being the chief of staff, and he probably would have brought in Cristobal. No matter what Cristobal is doing at Oregon, y'all need to know Alonzo's relationship with Cristobal, and obviously their love for Miami, because Cristobal wanted this job before Manny Diaz as a head coach.
Okay, and let me swing this question. Hey, Chris.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna ask you this: why do you think Lashley chose to come to Miami out of everywhere else that he probably had offers to go?
God bless him.
Why do you think he chose Miami?
Opportunity.
Opportunity.
What I mean by that, and what I mean by that, Manny Diaz's time is like in an hourglass, and if he does not produce it don't have to be a spectacular season. It don't got to be a star-studded season. It can't be no 6-7, no 7-6, none of that garbage type of season. So if he wins 8 games, okay, man, maybe that's time to slow down some. But let him go out there looking like Florida State from 2 years ago. Time's up.
Let that man lose his Temple in the season opener.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at Temple.
If he lose at Temple, he's done.
Boy.
That's what I was going to say too. Is I think you said 8 wins, right? With our schedule this season, and this is just realistically speaking. I know we're coming off 7-6, 6-7 for 2 seasons, but with our schedule, it's like, what is it? Temple, UAB, Wagner, Michigan State. I don't even know what the hell a Wagner is. That sounds like a fucking dog food brand. Like, bro, there's no reason we don't win at least 10 or 9 games.
I'll put it like this. We know who a couple of them schools were that we just lost to, and they end up getting names off us.
Oh, hell.
So shit. I ain't putting shit past nobody no more. Until we show that we can prove some shit, I ain't putting it past nobody. More power to Wagner. But like Matter of fact, I'm gonna push it to even. I know we haven't been talking negative talk. We've been talking opinions. You know what I'm saying? But I want to push it to, and I'm gonna start this one off with Logan. What do you think our solution should be? What are we missing to take it to the next step?
Jesus,
What are we missing?
that's a deep question. I have like two answers, man, because right now my two answers are a real head coach that's proven, and maybe it's going to be fixed this year with who we've hired on offense as an O-line coach and the recruits we've gotten. I don't know. I honestly will not know that until I see probably our first 3 or 4 games, probably after Michigan State, because Michigan State's our 4th game. They're not a great team, but looking at who we've lost to and struggled with, I think on the road against Michigan State's really going to show us who we are as a football team right now.
Right.
From the player and coaching
Okay,
perspective.
I like that. Hey, Chris.
Yes, sir.
What do you think, man? What do you think our solution is to take it to the next level? You know, what do you think we're missing at this point?
Consistency, brother. We're missing consistency. We've missed consistency. Our consistency is like a fishnet.
I like that.
It grabs some, but not all. You know what I'm saying? It grabs some, but not all. It doesn't grab what it needs to in order to get it to that next level. We need to have more consistency on the coaching staff. We need more consistency on the players. We need everybody to play one way. We need for them to combine. Instead of it being a civil war in the locker room, it needs to be one team, one unit, one sound at the U. Bottom line. You can't bring back the 80s if you do. Look, the 80s is the 80s. If you're trying to do the same thing as 80s as far as you trying to get another coach for the price that you got back in the 80s, I got news for you. This 2020. Prices have gone up on housing.
Yeah.
And condos and houses and mansions and stuff like that. You're not about to get nothing in Miami. Man. Okay? So you're going to have to.
Yo, Chris.
Uh-oh. He might have hit that dark spot he was talking about with the service.
Yeah, he hit that dark spot. Matter of fact, he was about to go in the dark spot in his soul. That's why they just cut the phone off on his ass. They were like, nah, he's not finna go.
Manny Diaz hacking into your shit.
Yeah, man, that's Manny. Manny said, you ain't finna say shit about me again. That's not finna happen.
Oh, my God.
All right, this Can't Talk No Filter with your boy DJ Yes Sir, a.k.a. Time Motherfucking 4. We here with Logan. We had Chris on the line, but Chris will be back, and then we gonna continue this thing, man. Logan, what's something that if you were AD or you were head coach that you would fix first on this team?
It kind of sounds overused, but I fixed the culture. Just the accountability from both players and coaches, and just them being responsible and realizing what the issue is, whether it be the players at the time or the coaches. I mean, Dan Enos, what was it, against Florida, Jaren's first game starting, and he played neutral site against Florida, who was not a terrible defense. Dan Enos sat there and completely threw him under the bus. Yeah. And his play calling was a part of the reason why the things happened in that game offensively. Don't get me wrong, Jaren missed a lot of throws, but what scenario are you going to put your redshirt freshman in, your redshirt freshman quarterback? What scenario are you going to put them in against a rival in a neutral site?
Right.
Come on.
First of all, I wouldn't even put anybody with, especially somebody that didn't have experience, that we did not have to go with. I wouldn't have put them up against Florida. No way. Like, that was a crazy move right there.
Yeah, I really wish Perry would have started. I wish Perry would have started the whole season and was never even yanked if he did.
I can guarantee you that we wouldn't have went 6 and 7 if Perry started this whole season.
No, I think we would have had maybe 8 or 9. I think.
I say 8 or 9. You know what I'm saying? I give 8 or 9, give or take. And to be on the good side, I say maybe 10. But I'm gonna just say 8 or 9.
That's true, because we didn't play nobody. It's funny because if you look at our schedule, we beat Virginia. We beat Florida State. We beat Pittsburgh. We competed against Florida. You know, we the games that we were supposed to be worried about, we won. These where we just came out flat.
Yeah, man. Hey, Chris.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. They say.
I live out in the boonies.
Hey, man. They say Manny Diaz worked for AT&T and he cut your shit off.
You said what?
That man heard fishnet and he was like, no.
Yeah, they say Manny Diaz worked for AT&T and he cut your shit off because you was finna get deep on him.
well, see, here's my thing. What was I just saying about accountability? I always got to point the finger to somebody, ain't it? I rest my case.
Right.
I rest my damn case. Okay. Well, what I was saying is it's just like a fish net with fish in it, but we catch most of it, but we don't catch everything. But when you are at the U, okay, you have a reputation to maintain. You have pride when you put that helmet on. Okay, you got certain standards that you have to go by.
Right.
And it's not just players, coaches as well. Because all the eyes of the world are watching you. And you just skimming by Central Michigan. You just easing by, Pitt. You lost at the Orange Bowl. You lost at home to your little brother school, FIU. You see what I'm saying? But the players were held accountable. If certain coaches were held accountable, everybody was held accountable except the dragon himself. Everybody was held accountable except the dragon himself.
Yeah, and that's one thing that
you got to lead that team, brother. This is your team. What are you going to do that's going to be consistent? Stop giving people what you want to continue to be is like smoke and mirrors. And it's like a smoky truth. You know what I'm saying? For one, I don't smoke. So stop giving me stuff that I don't do. Give me some clear, you know what I'm saying? Give me some clear understanding of what's going on here. Don't lie. Don't lie to the people and all this other kind of stuff. Like you want to bring back the new Miami, you want to do stuff from the 80s. You can't do stuff from the 80s. It's a different policy. It's a different policy. You can't do that. You cannot do that. You cannot be sitting up here. I wish Red Wine would have did something like Sean Taylor would have did. But he came close, but he did it within regulation. I said, Lord, now that was something that I would love to see. Again, but all this targeting that they got going on, all this other kind of stuff that they got going on, you can't do what they did back in the 80s. But what you can do is evolve it, turn it into something better. You know what I'm saying? We may not have the next Ed Reed. Don't make the next Ed Reed. Make the next person who that's going to be. They may want to emulate, but yeah.
Preach, Chris.
That's not the next Ed Reed, because Ed Reed is not duplicated. He will not be duplicated. Ray Lewis will not be. Jonathan Vilma will not be. Willis McGahee will not be. Jeremy Shockey. Love that dude. Love that dude. He'll never be the same. There won't be. Make kids evolve to bring them up to what they want to be.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Don't make it, you want to make it back in the 80s. In the 80s, they didn't have no turnover chain. They didn't have no turnover ring. And that didn't define them. You got kids on there willing to go ahead and trying to knock over each other, trying to get a turnover chain. For what? For what?
Yes,
for what?
Man.
For what? What you got? I mean, it's cool to have because it's a different concept. Okay? It is a different concept. But for what reason? While we sitting over here with turnover chains and touchdown rings, Clemson, Alabama, LSU are winning national championship rings.
Thank you. So let me elaborate on that. Let me elaborate on that. And matter of fact, I want to shoot a couple questions. Hey, Logan.
You
Okay, I said what's one thing that you would do as a head coach, and I also asked what's one thing that we need to add or what are we missing. So,
head coach.
what do you think? What do you? What's something that you think that we need to take the fuck away from Miami? Something that's a distraction that you think from the program. What do we need to take away?
Social media.
Oh,
Sorry. I
Lord.
I'm sorry. This is my mentality, my mindset, and how I would take care of my guys, work-wise. I'm going to kind of relate a little bit to that just because it's kind of similar in a sense with like leadership and, what you do to train and mentor people, which we've been lacking for a while at the Miami University. But I take away social media. And if you don't like it, then you can get off the team. Because when you got people like, Miami FIU. What the fuck do y'all remember with Miami and FIU? I remember, who was it? Lamar Thomas wanted to come on the field and whoop some ass too. I remember us whooping their ass on the scoreboard and on the field. But then you got people like Gilbert Frierson. Who sits there and takes pictures after the game with two players and then posts on Twitter, keep your negative comments to yourself. Bitch, you just lost FIU. I don't give a fuck if they're your friends or not. This is Miami. It don't fucking matter if they were your boys in high school. They ain't your boys on the field when we play. So we sit there and we have the season we have, and then you get embarrassed by FIU, who has a former Miami coach, and you sit there and post a picture with two players and then say, keep your negative comments to yourself when you ain't done a fucking thing all season anyway. You know what I'm saying? Besides what? The turnover lateral you had against LA Tech? That was it, guy. Good job. Other than that, don't be saying keep your negative comments to yourself. This is Miami. It's one of the most passionate, deepest fan bases on social media. So when you do shit like that, you're going to get blasted.
Yeah, it is. Because one thing about that, like I see after taking L's to like FIU and almost barely beating Central Michigan and that L from Georgia Tech, I see them throughout the week, especially on like Instagram and Twitter. You see him dancing in the locker room. And the crazy thing is, let me tell you.
Sideline too.
The sideline as well. And the crazy thing is.
And you know what's funny is Brett Romberg said that if those players were on that team in the 01, they would have got their ass whooped in the locker room. Tate Martell probably wouldn't even be alive. That man would I don't even know. I don't want to get into that, but yeah, straight up.
And that's why it comes down to leadership. We had no leadership on the team. I don't care what nobody say. From
a player and coaching level, I agree. Besides maybe like your Brevin Jordans and your DJ Dallases, it was not enough on certain sides of the ball, It was like, can anybody here tell me a true leader on our O-line?
You can't name one.
Nope.
We don't got one.
You couldn't name one.
And that was kind of our biggest struggling unit. But I also firmly believe that I think our offensive line, when you look at the team besides kicker or punter, I guess, the O-line, as the season went on with the play calling they were given, I think they were the most improved.
Yeah,
Especially with how young they were.
And you can see it. And the thing is, matter of fact, I'm gonna elaborate on that. I'm gonna throw a question out there. If you're going in the transfer portal every year to get the best quarterback you can go get, why the fuck are you not trying to use that same energy to go get some O-linemen, knowing that in 2016 we did not recruit not one of them? That's why we had no seniors. You know what I'm saying? In 2018 or something like that, we had it was two or three
returning starters against Florida.
It was two or three of them. It was 2 or 3 of them that left and went to Florida. So it's like we spending all our energy in the transfer portal going to get motherfucking quarterbacks when we have quarterbacks on the team. They just need development if you coaches can do the shit. But then after that, you're not going to get an O-lineman. Like, you'll go get the best quarterback, but you'll go get an O-lineman from Butler. What the fuck is that?
The O-line issue and recruiting, I 100% put on Rick, because we started last season against Florida. We had 2 offensive linemen returning. If you're going to do that on a neutral side against Florida in your first game, it definitely showed. I think it definitely showed between the quarterback holding on the ball too long too, but in the city play calling scenarios they were put in. When I heard Lashley say that his offense is 90% shotgun run, I was like, let's go. Let's go.
Let's
Put
ride.
Perry in that, please. Because there ain't going to be nothing to be said about quarterback or O-line.
Let's ride. But the thing is, like, it's still, you're going after, even after Manny Diaz took over. Yeah, that was Rick's fault for not going out and getting old linemen. Yeah,
It started there.
That was
but
his
then
fuck up.
it's being carried on because the recruiting culture that needed to be changed was not changed.
Right, because you can't get. It's like, damn, you going out to get the best quarterbacks. Why the fuck you getting quarterbacks when you ain't got nobody to block for them? And now you go and get the. Because I haven't heard about anything. Are we going after any old lineman in the portal? You know what I'm saying? I haven't heard anything about that. And the thing is, I guess right now he feels that, okay, this line is getting older together since they so young and they still gonna be together for some years, but we still need big bodies that can do something. And we need
to get those Wisconsin corn-fed motherfuckers on our fucking line.
But as
we get that with our running back
let me tell you though,
and our quarterbacks, it's a rap.
But let me tell you though, once that offense start moving, especially as I hear it how Lashley does it, they probably ain't gonna need no big motherfuckers. They need some fast O-line, some athletic ones.
And guys who are fit. They got cardio. Hey, you guys might have to bear with me. I need to go get cigarettes, so.
Hey, go ahead, man. Go on, smoke, man. Hey, ain't nothing wrong with cancer.
I'm messing with you.
I need that shit. Hey, I'm messing with you, man. Hey, after these hurricanes, these past couple of years, 15 to be exact, everybody should be smoking right now.
Shit. Everybody. That's one thing, too. That's one thing I'll tell you with these last 2 seasons, man. My damn fingernails, my cigarette intake, my alcohol intake, watching this damn team. Bro, I was about to send them a letter and be like, hey, man, y'all got to start paying 10% for this shit.
I'm surprised I'm not at an AA meeting someday.
You know what I'm saying? I think they need to sponsor University of Miami because hey, we giving y'all a lot of money for these smokes because we stressing out here. You know we stressing. We got 50 goddamn YouTube pages, 100 and some Facebook groups. We fucked up out here. We going at it with each other. We fucked up out here, man. And we just looking for something. We just looking for something good.
Man. That's one thing I'll tell you. Obviously, there are some really stupid Miami fans. Like, I'm sorry, some of them just aren't intelligent. NJ, people like that, you know. But at the end of the day, when you kind of look back at like the altercations and disagreements that the fans have, man, it's just because we care. That's really it. It's just because we care and we want us to be back to what we were. It's not like we just want to beef with each other, you know.
Of course, especially if you've seen it before. You know what I'm saying? If you've seen greatness, period, before, you like, damn, I can't believe this is going on. Because it feels like, it seems like the greatness was just yesterday.
It really does,
you know, and when we see this shit, we be like, we'll do it next year. We'll do it next year. We'll do it next year. Don't you know it's almost been 20 years since we've been anything?
That's what I'm saying, man. And when you look at the records that we've had those last 20 years, besides the fluke we had in 2017, because our fan base won us most of those games. I don't care what nobody says. The Notre Dame game, our fans won us that game. That game was insane. Some of those players said it was the loudest game they've ever been to.
Yeah.
It was crazy. My car's too loud. I'll mute my mic.
It was crazy. Okay, moving on though.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm gonna start with Chris.
What's up?
Chris, I asked about expectations this season, you know, but I want to go with, what do you think? Because I don't want to do predictions, but I do want to get your insight on what do you think? Predicting this season right here and looking at the schedule, looking at the teams we play, what do you think we go this year? And you have to factor Manny in that. You have to factor Manny in this equation.
Okay, so you mean as far as like what our record might be, as far as is that?
Yeah, record prediction for 2020.
Let me see if my math is up. We got 12 games. We got Temple, after that season, that ain't gonna be no lackadaisical because we were looking all lackadaisical on that stuff. But this year, I would say we would probably win about 9 games. But
about 9 games?
I would say about 8 or 9 games. You know?
8 or 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds feasible. That sounds doable.
And it has to be doable to the point of where change has to come in. Now, I'm looking at Lachey, Because if it would have been Dan Enos, I'd have been like, next question. Oh God. Next question.
Hey, Logan, what do you think? What do you predict, man? What do you predict the 2020 season to be about?
I'm pulling out the
Okay, it's cool.
Go ahead with the
It's
question again,
cool.
my
Can't
fault.
talk no. Yeah, can't talk no filter. We hear this DJ Yes Sir, aka Time Motherfucking 4. We here with Chris and Logan Kane, man. Logan, what do you think we'll go this year? Like, what's your prediction of our schedule this year? Like, what do you
10 wins or
think our
fire
record
Manny
will be?
Diaz. Period. You don't get 10 wins, you fire Manny
Huh.
Diaz. It's the easiest schedule ever. And if we get eight, I'm not even gonna say 7 because that'll really piss me off. I'll probably get locked up. But if we don't at least get 8 or 9 wins, then it
Right.
needs to come down to what games did we lose and why did we lose them. You know what I'm saying? If it doesn't look like it's a coaching thing and it's all right, these guys worked their ass off and it was a good game. But then again, there's no excuse with the talent we have and the OC that we have.
Right.
So it just shouldn't happen. Period. It needs to be 10
Right.
wins. I mean, I think maybe a close game to Florida State. Obviously, you're Clemson. If we go against them in the Grand Championship, it's going to be tough because Clemson is so stacked, man. But with the offense that we're running, I think that we can compete with Clemson now. You know?
Yeah, cause I go with my prediction. It's in the 7-8 range. Not to think bad about what's going on, but I mean I gotta be a realist what I see out here, cause I mean last year we didn't out coach anybody. You know what I'm saying? And this year we have a lot of missing pieces on the team. Yeah, we got untapped talent, but I can't look at untapped talent. You know what I'm saying? I got to go off what I've seen so far. And what I've seen so far, and especially with the coaching staff and the players, player-wise, I mean, I got to go with 7-8 wins.
I'm here.
Yeah. I'm here.
I was just checking out, man. This conversation we got going on. I didn't even buy Newport shorts. I had to buy hundreds. Good Lord.
Yeah, man. But yeah, my prediction, man, I had to go with 7 to 8 wins. You know, on the top.
I mean, realistically speaking, that's probably not wrong at all.
On the top end, I could say.
Not
On
really.
the top end,
Not really
I could.
wrong.
On the top end, I could say 9. You know, but
Yeah.
going with who we bringing back, like basically only receiver that we can count on that we bringing back, Brevin Jordan. You know, and he's one that, I mean, he balls out when he balls out, but he gets hurt a lot. You know what I'm saying? And then running back
True.
wise,
Very true.
and then running back wise, I'm looking at Cam Harris. Like a lot of people say, that's a beast, that's a Dade County dog, but I haven't seen that.
I think he is. I just think DJ was just the alpha of that running back room. So that's why I don't think we saw Cam the way we did. But I think Cam's a hard runner, and he's only going to improve in the offense he's about to be under. And he's got an off season to work and get better. So, and I think he's definitely going to apply himself to do
Yeah,
that.
that's true.
Unlike, does anybody here think that Jaren's going to apply himself this off season and just magically be
Nah,
the star of our
nah.
offense next season? No, because he hasn't done it.
Nope.
Cam, I think, will do it. And Cam had a good guy like DJ Dallas in front of him.
Yeah, man, and I think that, but even
Yeah, he
when
did.
he had, like, you know what I'm saying, DJ Dallas in front of him, when DJ Dallas wasn't in front of him, you know what I'm saying? Like, do you look at Cam as a game changer?
No. I think that he was a great runner, but when it came to like blitzes and picking up your blitzes and picking up your blocks, he was not like DJ at all, because the main reason our offensive line looked good was because of the Brevin Jordans and DJ Dallases that could help pick up blocks and shit.
Right.
That is 100% truth. And when you saw Mallory or any other running back in, no offense to them, they weren't terrible, but they were not as good or consistent as DJ and Brevin were.
Right, because I look at it as, you know, like, okay, Cam is what he is, but I'm looking at it from the standpoint of a game-changing running back. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think that's going to be Rooster. Well, we brought in him, Taney. Oh my God, those two Miami running backs. We got two of the best running backs in Miami. We got both of them.
yeah, you talking about Jalen?
Yep, I think those two are going to be game-changing running backs. Like I'm talking like back in the day with Duke Johnson. game changer.
Right. See, that's what I'm talking about, and that's what I'm going for
I hope
next year.
so.
That's why I'm saying, like, dang, I think these freshmen gonna overtake. They ain't gonna overtake Cam per se, but eventually it's gonna happen because I haven't seen Cam being a game changer, and not just speaking on Cam, like even like in the wide receiver room. Like I think like who do
I think that had a lot to do with our coaching with the wide
with the
receivers.
wide receivers?
We are stacked at wide receiver. I know damn well y'all seen Mark Pope's tape, bro. Mark Pope is no joke. Just physically, athletically, talented, gifted. And we saw barely enough glimpses of him, and it was because I think the coaching that we had. I think Mark Pope and like your Harleys, I think they shine in an offense. D. Wiggins, one of the fastest players on the team, top speed wise. People like that shine in this offense that hopefully we're bringing in.
Well, we gonna hope that. You know what I'm saying? Like, but going off what I've seen before, like that goes into my prediction. You know what I'm saying? I didn't see Mike Harley as nothing special. You know what I'm saying? Not so far. But next year, hey, his senior year, he might just break out. Who knows? He might just show me in this offense. You know, but he hasn't shown me in it.
So what you're saying, I do agree with. But it's kind of like when you look at Sam Brooks and how he was supposed to be all world and all this, and he was when he was given the time to play and put in that scenario to play. You know what I mean? So I think if we can do that with, really speaking about wide receivers, we'll kind of see the same thing.
Yeah, and the thing is, I want to see it in production. I have to see it. You know what I'm saying? I want to see it to be like, and I want to see it just like Chris was saying, on a consistent basis. Don't have a good game this game, and then you go blank for 4 or 5 games. You know what I'm saying? Like I got to see it on a consistent basis. You continuing to bring it, and the thing that goes in my prediction is like the defense. We lost a lot again.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, okay, now we head scratching up. Like, that's what my 7-6 come in. Not my 7-6, but my 7-8 wins come in at.
Yeah, I said about 9. If we do it the right way, I don't. That's a little bit much, but I think we might, but it just got to be done with consistency. If we're not going to have consistency, then it's going to end up being the same thing of a mimic of what this past season was. And we get tired of that. We get tired of everybody sitting here saying, oh, well, I'm tired of Clemson winning. I'm tired of this winning, that winning, and all of that. But you got to look at their consistency. They're consistent. You know what I'm saying? They're consistent.
Right.
That's why they keep winning. That's why they keep doing all of this stuff. Because they're consistent. They have a game plan. Dabo Sweeney has a game plan for those boys. You know what I'm saying? And they sit in there and they know who everybody is and what their position is and what they need to do. Bottom line. If we can mimic anything from them, instead of getting beat by them all the time, we'll be all right. Because you can't hate the product if the product is working for you. You can't. If it's working for you.
Yeah.
And I can't. And I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it works. And it works well. That's why they're in the national championship. That's why they can go head to head against LSU, even though they came up short. Them boys gave it their all. And I give them much respect for that. They're a rival, but I give them much respect for what Dabo was doing over there. If we can get at least half of that over in Miami, we'll be all right. We'll have a 9 or 10 game season. We will. We'll have a 9 game win season, and we'll be able to go to a New Year's Six bowl with confidence. We don't have the confidence. In 2017, when we won them 10 games, the defense won those games. Let's just be honest. Defense won those games. You know what I'm saying? When we went to that ACC championship, I was pumped, but I knew in the back of my mind, I'm like, man, we might lose this one here. I was wrong. We didn't.
Yeah, because the thing is, man, because we were getting turnovers that year at an alarming rate, like 4 a game. You know what I'm saying? That's basically that's impossible to keep doing. You can't continue that rate. You know what I'm saying? And you're not gonna do it against not a sound team. And that's what I said about Manny. You know what I'm saying? It's like to me, his defense only thrives when we have turnovers. When we don't have turnovers, we don't look as good. We look actually what it really is. You know what I'm saying? And it's not really that top dog status. So without turnovers, basically, Manny, you show what you really are. Even though turnovers are part of the ball game. I keep putting it out there. Turnovers are part of the ball game. But when we get no turnovers, we look like shit.
But that's
on
our bread
defense
and
for the
butter.
most part.
But we got to come up with something different. We got to have something different, but just besides defense. We got to have our offense on. We got to have our offense on point. We got to make sure our defense is on point. Our O-line is on point. We got to make sure that we have all of these things and have them on a consistent basis. Nobody cannot sit here and say about Clemson being always at the top. Why they always at the top? Because they are consistent. That is why. And everything that they do is about consistency and about accountability and about being responsible, making curfew. You think Trevor Lawrence would have missed curfew and would have started in that championship game? Dabble would have sat him out. They got a backup, a pretty decent one at that too. But they follow rules, consistency. They follow rules. When you apply rules, you have to be the one to enforce them. And you have to be the one to make sure that your team enforces it. I don't care if he's a 4-star, 5-star, 10-star. If he missed curfew, you do not suit up. Bottom line. You know what the rules are.
You sit his ass
Maybe
down.
you'll learn. You gonna learn. But instead, Manny gives him a slap on the wrist. Oh, because this is my favorite. There are no favorites. There are no favorites. In my eyes, there are no favorites. There shouldn't be. There are, but they shouldn't be. In my eyes, they will be none. If I was head coach, they wouldn't be none. You win the role when you put in the work. When you put the work in, you get the job. If you're not consistent in your schoolwork and you slipping on your schoolwork, you can't play football on that team unless you have a certain grade point average. That's why New Jersey Kane is sitting up there talking about, he's not doing good in school. How do you figure that? Just because he's not playing and Jay Will is starting don't mean that he's slipping in his grades. This man is on the dean's list. I heard you say that.
Thank you.
So how is he slipping? You can. That's a
New Jersey didn't know what that New Jersey cat didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. You know, matter of fact, we're not even gonna call him that. We're gonna give him a nickname because I don't even want to give him no more publicity. You know what I'm saying? We'll give him a nickname later on the show. You'll know who I'm talking about.
Port Munchie. Port Munchie. There it is.
Yeah, man. But yeah, man. But hey, we gonna kind of we coming to the end of the show, but before the end of the show, and we've done our predictions and everything, we've talked about Manning, we've talked about Highsmith, we've talked about the quarterback situation and what we would change. Our next thing, you know what I'm saying, before we get off, are y'all going to any games, man? What games are y'all going to so we can get together and tailgate? Because I know the Can't Talk No Filter crew, we gonna tailgate big time that Florida State Miami game.
I can't
go. Y'all going to any games this year?
I can't go to Florida State. I will go to jail. Cannot go to Florida State. Straight up. I'm straight up. I can't.
You and me both.
I can't. UCF, the Florida States, I can't do it. I've been around their fan base. Them motherfuckers will sit there and say something about your family, your wife, your mother. And I'm sorry. After that, it's a wrap.
Hey, but you got to know, see, y'all got to know, I'm from Tallahassee, so I used to take all that, but I used to give it too. They couldn't handle. I was down there in Tallahassee. They couldn't handle me by myself. You know what I'm saying? You gotta cut them deep. You gotta cut them in their soul. You know what I'm saying?
We got to be all over the news if we go together.
It's all good. We need to be on the news. We need that publicity. Can't talk no filter. You know what I'm saying?
I'll tell you one thing. That mugshot's gonna have me thrown up to you though.
You're right. It'll be my first one. It'll be my first one. But I'm gonna throw that you up and I'm gonna have my chains on. I'm gonna have my 305 chain on. But they had the chain from this year, and I got the one from last year.
Let's go. Make a movie out of it. Hey, well, if y'all don't make it to the Florida State game, really come up here for the Georgia Tech game. I'm up here in Atlanta, man, and we really get it popping. And I'm gonna make sure that I throw a party that night too, that Friday night.
Jesus.
Yeah. That's what I really want to go to. Is that
I feel drunk just talking about this.
Man, I went to
man,
that
so-
joint Texas. Oh man, I'm ready this
So
time.
yeah,
And
man,
I got
DJ,
my-
yes sir. I'll be on the ones and twos. You know what I'm saying? Making it happen. Eating good, drinking good, make it happen, man. ATL. Up here.
This is off topic, but I don't think y'all want to drink around me.
Bullshit. Let's go.
Us soldiers do things differently, man. That's one thing too. Is I'll be lucky to go to a game because of that. But I'm gonna try. I
Hey,
really
make
want to go
sure-
to like
hey.
maybe one or two.
Hey, make sure keep the pistols away from Logan Kane while he drinking, man. Those ain't fireworks or balloons, man. Logan tripping over here, man. Let's get it, man. But I enjoyed y'all being on the show, man, and we're going to get up again, man. Matter of fact, we're going to have even a bigger panel for the next one. You know what I'm saying? So I enjoy y'all being a special guest, man. Chris, I know y'all probably had more stuff to get off your chest, but we're going to keep it going, you know what I'm saying? We're going to make it. We going to have some more. We going to talk this shit. We're going to talk this Kane shit. Kane Talk No Filter. We had special guest Chris Lee up in this piece, and we had special guest Logan Kane up in this motherfucker, man. I appreciate y'all coming on, man. Anything y'all want to plug? Anything y'all want to plug before y'all get off?
Fire Blake James. That's about it.
You 305 till I die, baby. Let's get
You
it this
305 till
season.
we die. Yes, man. Yes, man. To you, man. And that wraps up the show. Kane Talk No Filter. Before I get off, man, in the words of late great Bernie Mac. And y'all was there with me if y'all been listening to the show. I'm out this
Can't talk no
motherfucker.
filter. Can't
Peace.
talk no filter. Can't talk no filter. Can't talk no filter. Hey. Can't talk no filter. Can't talk no filter. Can't talk no filter. Hey. Do you really want that? Can't talk. Do you really want that? Can't talk. Can't talk no filter. Can't talk no filter. Can't talk no filter. Hey.